So let's move on to our second version of the game. Now, in the first version of the game, we've got a form which is going to collect some, it's going to sort of hold the initial values for our game, and we've got a response page, and that's the response page that's actually going to do all the work. And in the first version, all that happened was we had the form, the initial values, and the response page simply prints the values out. So let's tweak this code a little bit, and let's move on to the next version. So the first thing that we want to do is height, speed, and fuel. Well, those are going to be values that are constant. And when I say constant here, what I mean is they're not values that us as a user are going to be able to change. The only value that we can change on this form is going to be the thrust field. And then the thrust is actually the thing that's going to alter the height, the speed, and the fuel. So what we need to do is we actually need to make height, speed, and fuel read-only. And we can do this in HTML. So we go into the form and we actually edit the form. And you should be able to see tucked in here, we've got our 4 input type text fields, but in the middle of them we need to add in the fact that they're going to be read-only. And you can see that I've done that here, it's highlighted in red. Now I've got a sort of initial starting screen for this game, so all 4 fields on the initial starting game screen are going to be read-only. It's actually on the response pages where we're actually going to be doing our work. So those are going to be read-only. Let's have a look at the response page. Now the response page is the thing where the actual game engine is going to occur. And what will happen is that when we click on OK, this form will call this form. And so you type a value in, you click OK, and it calls this form. You click OK, calls this form, click OK, calls this form. So you've got a sort of loop going on here in that as you click OK, the form calls itself. Now that's something that we haven't seen before. Something like this. So our initial game page, which is going to be just HTML code, that's a sort of intro to the game, but the core of what's actually going on in here is stuck in this loop where the form calls itself over and over again. Now, the other thing that we'll need to do is as the game is being played, we'll need to insert new values for height and speed and things like that into the form. And the way that we're going to do that is by, rather than have those values hard coded into the form, we have them printed in. So we've got 2 changes that we need to make to the actual form, which is going to be the thing that makes up the core of the game engine. Here's the form. Now if you look at the 3rd line down, you can see the bit where it says value equals, and on the previous version of this we actually had a value in there. It had like 300, whatever the value was, but what we really want to do here is we want to actually print the value into that gap. So you can see I've got some PHP there, print height, and I've got print speed, and I've got print fuel. So what will happen is height, speed and fuel will be passed into the form. We'll grab those values using post, just in the same way that we normally do, and then we'll print them into that gap. And when you click OK, this process game 2 page will call process game 2. So as we play the game, as we click on the buttons, we go round and round and round, the values are passed through the form onto the next version of the form, which happens to be the same form. So this page calls itself over and over again.